Brits have pretty much pulled out of Basra. They're starting the drawdown process, and it reminds me, although I wasn't there, I followed it at the time, of the drawdown in Vietnam. The way that the US and Australian troops, especially Australian troops, had to pull out of Vietnam in advance, and left this power vacuum in the country. And I hate to say it, but maybe it's premature. I don't know. It's very difficult to tell. I mean, a lot of people are saying, just get the troops out. They're part of the problem, not the part of the solution. But if you do that, it's going to leave a power vacuum of some description. And the insurgents are strong enough; they're going to move in. God knows what's going to happen. Frankly, I don't actually feel qualified to comment, not having been there. But we shouldn't be there in the first place. That's the point, isn't it? Well, it's not the point now. The reality is, what do we do now? How
can American and British troops expect to go to Iraq, fight the war for Iraq, and then it all be happy and then go out again? I don't understand the whole concept to start with, why they thought that. I think that Iraq has various problems, but I really don't think that American British troops going there is going to help, because it's almost like, hang on, you know, we're better than everybody, we rule the world, we'll go in, we'll sort your problem out, and it's almost taken over. It is taking over Iraq. Like, you know, if I was Iraq, I'd be pretty against it. Even if I was, you know, if I was on the good side, I'd be pretty against it. And I know that they probably need somebody to interfere and rescue, and maybe that's a good thing, but maybe they should limit the way. And in fact, my uncle is actually in Iraq. He's a British troop, and we're not allowed to know where he is, and he feels that he's sort of doing good for the world, and he's helping get rid of all the bad people, but at the same time you're killing all the good people. You know, I mean, there's not a good or bad, but getting rid of what's, you know, the people that are bombing, say, Britain and America or their own country, but at the same time you're killing innocent women and children, and even own troops. There's been cases where an American guy, I think, shot a British troop and by accident and things like that. And you know, is it worth it? But then at the end of the day, I'm not a politician, and how else could you possibly solve it? You just let Iraq sort themselves out. Can they actually sort themselves out? Maybe you do need somebody to go in and help. And I think that people that go, yeah, go to war, or no, war's really bad, I don't think either of them are actually right, because how can you say that? Because you need wars like the First World War, the Second World War to come through things, and I think, you know what, no matter what this world's going to be like, or where we are in whatever time or in the future, there's always going to be a war, because there's always going to be people disagreeing.
Well, it ain't going to get better in the near future. If anything, it's going to get worse. Again, I've not been in the region recently, and I don't know if I'm qualified to tell, but from what I can gather and from what people who have been there have told me, things are just deteriorating by the day, and it's partly to do with the way that foreign forces are invading, they're influencing their region. If it was left to the Arab League, for example, then perhaps things might get a little bit better. I don't know. But you got the added complication of Palestine, and that's not going to improve any time soon. It's such a difficult question, Julie. I mean, I've been to all these areas before, not for a long time, but when I was there, it's so ingrained. It's a little bit like the Irish issue, you know, used to be. You know, like people used to say 30 years of troubles they had. It wasn't. It was 400 years of troubles and more, you know.